Hi there. Welcome. I'm Jen Burson. I'm the founder and president of Generation PR, an award-winning PR, digital PR agency, social media marketing influencer agency based in Los Angeles. And I'm also the creator of the Generation Academy that is geared towards giving you, the digital agency owner, all of the tools, the resources, the know-how, tips, training tools, community, all of the things you need to be successful in your business and your career. And today's discussion is a very important one. Fear of failure can keep you playing small. And so it's really important that we tackle it, we address it, we acknowledge that it's there, and don't let it hold us back, but we use it to find ways to maybe use that to our advantage, find ways to shift the narrative so that we can move forward with the confidence and the clarity that you need to take that huge leap of faith, launch or grow and scale your digital agency, and pursue entrepreneurship with the confidence that you can do it. So let's dive in. We know that launching a digital agency, it's really exciting, pursuing your dreams and entrepreneurship, but there's a lot of uncertainty that comes with that, and that comes with entrepreneurship in general. Your income is not guaranteed. But what I love about that is the flip side. Like I said, we're going to take all of these fears that hold us back and flip it so that we have a different way to look at it. I look at the fact that income is not guaranteed. The other side of it is that the potential is, sky's the limit. And when you're working in a job for someone else, you're limited to your income and maybe a bonus on top of it or a sales commission. But that quantum growth in your income, your revenue, is only possible when you have your own business. And there's that feeling of being fulfilled, that you're doing something for yourself. You're doing your own thing. You're in charge. You get to call the shots. And not that you're bossing people around, but you make decisions that are going to align with the kind of life and the values you have, your work-life integration, and you get to make those choices. So I know it's tough, and we always hear about failed launches or closed businesses. We've all heard that stat, whatever percent of businesses, 90%, I don't know, fail in the first 5 years. I don't know if that's true, but it sure gets shared a lot. These things get, repeated over and over, and that can also contribute to the fear. You don't want to be one of those numbers. But you cannot allow that fear of failure hold you back, because you can't run a successful business when fear is in the driver's seat. And if you let it take over, you're setting yourself up for a safe, unfulfilling career. And that's not what I want for you. That's not why I'm here. That's not my purpose. And it's not yours. So I want to share 6 of my best strategies for overcoming your fear, fear of failure, so that you can reach your goals. You can maybe surpass your goals, absolutely. And you can pursue dream opportunities that you never imagined possible and build the life and the business, the digital agency that you want, okay? The first thing I'll share with you is that, failure is a part of entrepreneurship. We're going to talk a lot about the fact that it happens, and we've all heard that your biggest failures are your biggest opportunity for growth. And every digital agency owner has at least some fear of failure when they get into entrepreneurship, and we'll all experience it at one point or another. Know it's coming, right? Like, if you worry that there might be some failure or something didn't go the way that we anticipated, you'll be, again, stuck in neutral and fear's in the driver's seat, and you're going nowhere. So we're all going to experience it. I have certainly many times over 18 plus years, but realize that you are never alone in your failures, your struggles, your setbacks, your bumps in the road. No one is 100% successful right out of the gate. No one. Maybe things go in a different direction than you expected. And if you have your heart set on one thing, then that new direction may feel like a failure because it's not what you had in mind, or it wasn't your initial reason for pursuing. But that new direction that maybe you perceive as a failure is really where you're meant to be. You know, falling down and getting back up again is how you become a better entrepreneur and a better agency owner. It's how you build your confidence, knowing you're going to come out on the other side of it and still be here, you know? And I wanted to share a story where I kind of experienced this with my own son, where we recently went on our very first family ski trip. And my older son, he's extremely rigid. He has learning differences, and it's a lot easier for him to just say, I don't care, I'm not interested, than to face his fears. And part of those fears, I think, is a bit of embarrassment or not being good enough, not just, I'll fall and might hurt myself or whatever. But I could tell there was something about him that was very intrigued by the idea of skiing. He was open to trying it. He seemed excited. We said, we're putting you in ski school. And he did not like ski school. He was like, I'm done. Return my rentals. Don't buy me a lift ticket tomorrow. I'm out. And I could just tell there was something there that was like, it's not that he doesn't like it. It's that he won't overcome the hard part at the beginning because he's afraid of failing. He's afraid of falling. So I convinced him to stay with me. I'm not a great skier, but I can do okay. I can get around. And I just said, I will stay with you. We will go to the bottom of the bunny slope. We don't even have to get on the chairlift. And I'll just go on that little slope, just back and forth with you. And I'll stay with you. And there's no rush. There's no pressure. And he finally said, okay, yeah, I'll give it a try. The very first thing that I taught him was how to fall down. How to fall. And I said, I'll fall with you. It's not a big deal. Everyone falls. And I pointed around the mountain. We're on the bunny slope. Everybody's learning. I pointed to all the grownups and all the kids that were on the ground, and they just got right back up. I taught him how to fall, and I taught him how to get up. And gradually, the falling became no big deal because he could push himself right back up. And I told him that the falling down part is one of the most important parts of being successful at skiing. It's falling and knowing that that's not a problem and getting right back up. And I swear that tripped a light bulb where he said, I want to try this. Let's get on the lift. So once my son felt more comfortable with falling, which was kind of the equivalent of like failing and realizing it didn't mean that you're never going to do it. It just means you have to get up and try again. He was more willing to try, and he was successful. He pizza wedged his way down that slope. And I have to say this was one of my biggest wins as a parent because I stuck with him. I didn't let him overcome or I didn't let his fear of failure keep him from trying. He started to enjoy it. We picked up his brother from ski school and they were both like, let me show you what I learned. Let me show you what I learned. The next thing I know, they're both on the lift together to go down the little bunny slope and show each other what they could do. And it was one of the greatest moments of parenting, one of my most joyful moments. It was amazing because he is very reluctant to try anything. And so we were so proud of him. It was so huge, but it was remembering that the falling down part is just part of the process of learning. And he learned how to get right back up. And then that fear of falling was not a factor anymore. And that is a similar lesson that I hope you can take into entrepreneurship. We'll all fall, we'll maybe fail, and it's a learning opportunity. You get right back up and you keep going, and you don't let that stop you. Number 2, put the focus back on your goals. So your goals and the vision that you have for your life and your agency, that is there to guide you through any setbacks that you may have. Just knowing that this is a small part of a bigger vision and a bigger dream and a bigger goal that you have for your life and your business. When you're acting and making decisions that are aligned with those goals and your values and that vision, then you're making progress despite any setbacks or failures. And failures can be a necessary part of reaching your goals. And you'll know what doesn't work for your journey, and you can proceed accordingly. Like sometimes the failure can be saying yes to something that isn't aligned with your vision or your values, or taking a client that you kind of know it's not really a stepping stone in the right direction, but it's a learning opportunity. I kind of look at my first career in law as, not like, oh, that was a failure, I couldn't hack it. I looked at that experience of trying law, practicing was not the right fit for me. It just was not a fit. And that contrast of whatever that was, I don't want that. I don't want billable hours. It means no pleasantries, no relationship. Not for me, right? I want to have a relationship with clients. My career in law showed me exactly what I didn't want. And I knew the flip side of, well, I know what a career that I love would look like. So even taking a client that sucks and you're like, oh my God, this is awful. You have to part ways. You have to end the contract early. You have to deal with stressful encounters until you let them go. That failure, they're all a learning opportunity, and it's a necessary part of reaching your goals, because now you know the kinds of clients that you want to work with and the kinds of characteristics and the ways that they work that'll align with how you want to work. You'll proceed accordingly when you make decisions that are in alignment with your goals. And letting go of your fear of failure is easier when you have those goals motivating you, because you're working towards something that excites you and something that inspires you. Why would you ever let fear hold you back from achieving your dreams when you're in pursuit of something that just inspires you and lights you up? Fear is not going to be stronger than that desire. Sure, there might be obstacles along the way, but any failure, any setback, any road bump is not the final point. It's just one point in the destination. And when you have your goals and your vision in mind, you have that motivation that you need to keep going, to push past any fear and to work hard to make decisions in alignment until you succeed and until you're on that path. And even if you feel that you're successful, there's still going to be setbacks. There's always setbacks, but you look at them not like failures. You look at them just like, learning lessons and opportunities for growth and a typical experience in running your business. Another thing to do to really overcome the feeling of failure or the fear of failure is to shift your mindset about failure. When you are afraid of failing, it's easy. This is like my son with the skiing. He was just afraid of falling. He was afraid of looking ridiculous. And I was like, first of all, you're not going to look ridiculous. I will help you up every single time. And I'll fall down with you because I don't care. These people don't know us. Like, it's fine. And even if your best friends were here, everybody falls and we don't look ridiculous. You're just learning and that's it. You're on the bunny slope. Everyone here is learning. When you're afraid of failing, it's really easy to take an all or nothing mentality. Either you fail and you give up or you succeed and you celebrate. Like there's really no in between. But that is not conducive to, the success of your agency at all. This sort of thinking makes it easy to let fear win and to choose the simple way out. If I don't pursue that or I don't try, then I won't fail. This has a lot to do also with like perfection paralysis, where you write a pitch and you review it and you tweak it and you rewrite it and you just can't push send for whatever reason. Or you write an article or you're writing a proposal. This happens to me with proposals all the time. That, I got to get it right. I got to get it right. The perfection paralysis is a way that fear is taking over, because it's the fear of judgment, the fear of someone saying no, the fear of not getting the opportunity. If you don't put it out into the world, then nobody can say no. But when you flip that thinking, not putting it out into the world and not winning that client, or not getting the yes from an editor, or not getting eyeballs on your latest blog post, or whatever the case may be, or updating your website, not putting that out into the world because you're worried people will see it and they won't want to work with you. Well, the result's the same. If you don't put it out into the world, you're not going to win that client. You're not going to land that press feature. So perfection paralysis is really like a protective way that we try to keep others from judging, or we try to protect ourselves from our fears of failure or rejection. But the outcome is actually the same when you don't put your finished work into the world. The answer is no. An editor can't say yes to a pitch that you never send, or that you keep trying to get perfect. There is no perfect. You could write the perfect pitch and it might not align with that editor. Or you can write a sloppy, quickie pitch as you're like thinking of something that you have a relationship with somebody, and you just fire off something very casual and they're like, yes, let's go. And you're like, that was the most casual, easiest pitch I ever sent. So that sort of thinking of you're afraid to fail, it will hold you back, and it will make it easy for that fear to win and for you to choose the simple way out, which is to not try to pursue that dream or put that work into the world. You won't go after opportunities with your dream clients, or you won't ask for the rate that you deserve based on the value you provide, because you're worried they'll say no. That's a fear of failure. I'll ask for this and they'll say it's too much or they can't afford it, and they won't work with you. And that's the fear that holds you back. So you ask for a modest rate and you're stuck playing small. Maybe there's massive projects that could really move the needle for your business, but that fear keeps you from pursuing them because you are worried that there could be rejection or failure on the other side of it. The first part of shifting your mindset about failure is reframe your idea of success. This one I like a lot. You have to think about what success means to you, both large and small scale. How do you know that you're successful? How do you know that your business is a success, or that it's working and you're not failing? Of course you want to succeed with your goals, but there are small wins along the way, and we often ignore those small wins to get to the final goal, the bigger destination. And acknowledging those small wins, celebrating those small wins, that momentum builds. You start to see that your unique vision of success for your life, both professional and personal, they're coming into focus. They're happening a little bit at a time, So celebrate those small wins. What matters is that you always try to do better than the day before. Whatever the setbacks are that you're experiencing, just try to be, 1% better the next day. Failure doesn't seem so all or nothing when you focus on little victories and you celebrate the wins all along the way. And the next tip I have for you is you have to push through the discomfort. When things get hard, You have a major setback that you're faced with. You have to push through it. It's uncomfortable. You have to keep going. You might have to start from square one and do things over again with some tweaks, some changes, a whole new approach, a fresh outlook. That's okay because it is all part of the process. That grit, persistence, determination, all of those things that it takes to push through that first setback will all make future failures easier to overcome. The best part of trying something is overcoming the challenges and getting on the other side and then getting good. And even when you're good, you never stop practicing. I mean, you look at the best basketball players, best tennis players in the world. They don't say, okay, I'm good now, and then they don't practice. They're honing, refining, staying on top of their game all the time. It's all part of the process. That's the grit. And like with my son in the ski trip, he doesn't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to try something that doesn't come naturally to them. But I pushed him to try, and it was truly a breakthrough moment. And he had that proof on the other side of the discomfort that success awaits. And he really did enjoy skiing. Like I could tell that he was confident. I could tell he was like, did you tell daddy? Did you tell daddy? He wanted to continue going down the little bunny slope again and again. And he had a little spark in his eye where he felt proud of himself. And I don't get those moments a lot. So you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And deflecting or rejecting out of fear will close you off from any possibilities, any new opportunities. You have to push through that bad to get to the good. Maybe there's a better word than bad. The unknown, the scary, things that make you afraid to get to the other side where confidence, success, growth, grit, determination, all of those await. One other thing to keep in mind is you have to know that you are not your failures. Your failures do not define you. One setback doesn't make you a terrible entrepreneur. Or it doesn't mean that you're not destined to have a successful business, or it means that you're, destined to shut your doors and move on to something else because you couldn't hack it, you couldn't make it work. We are all our own worst critics, but putting your failures under a microscope and focusing solely on that, it doesn't do you any good. It's important to love your business, do work that lights you up, but you can't equate your self-worth and tie your self-worth, your value to the success of your agency, because it will set you up for low confidence levels, negative feelings about your value as an agency owner. It's going to set you up to say, I can't hack it. I'm not good at this, but other people are doing such an exceptional job and, celebrating client wins and celebrating media wins. And you're like, what's wrong with me? First of all, you're not seeing all of the failures that came before them, all of the contracts they didn't win, all of the press pitches that didn't convert. You're seeing them celebrate their wins, which is great. Love celebrating the wins. But I used to get this feeling of like, oh my God, am I not good enough? Are they better than me? And now I look at it like, wow, that's possible. That's possible for me. If they can have that, I can have it too. So looking at any failure you have and setting yourself up with negative feelings about your value as an agency owner is putting you in a place where your mindset isn't right for growth, for opportunity. When you experience a failure or a setback, don't give in to that instinct to brand yourself as a failure. Remind yourself of all the good you've done so far, which is why we love celebrating small wins. What can you do to acknowledge them? Do you have anything in the works that you can easily complete and then be like, I did it, and celebrate that? Did you learn something new? Did you make a new media contact, a new connection or a relationship? Did you improve a relationship with a client? Do you have any wins recently with other clients or landed a new client in the past few months? Like anything, like a new media contact, refining your proposal templates. So celebrate yourself for making it this far. And remember, you are far more than your fears, your failures, your setbacks. And again, we're not going to say failures. We're going to call them lessons, growing opportunities, right? Reframe it. The last thing I have is be gentle with yourself. Be patient. Know that you're going to learn something from any mistakes, setbacks, bumps in the road. Things take time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and your digital agency is not going to be built in a day either. You need to be patient as you work towards these goals, and know, just like skiing and, putting out proposals that you don't always win, failure is part of the process. And sometimes multiple setbacks are necessary to get those results that you want. So give yourself a runway so that you can complete a project. Don't put extra pressure on yourself with unrealistic timelines or expectations that, you can't always meet. Or if you, talk to a client and you kind of ask them, when do you need the proposal or when do you need our strategy? If they give you a timeline that's like, I'm not going to be able to do my best in that period, let them know, and ask for more. Don't set yourself up for failure because they asked for a deadline that you think is impossible. I'd rather have you take an extra day or two and make it great and turn something over to them that they're going to love than trying to meet some arbitrary deadline where you're not going to be able to do your best work. So, give yourself that runway to complete a project. Don't put extra pressure on yourself with expectations that are not realistic for you. If you have so much going on, your kid is graduating, you're packing for a trip, you're leaving, you're going out of the country, you have 2 new business proposals, a client strategy to complete, and you have 2 days. No, that's not realistic. It's not going to work. You're going to make yourself crazy. So you have to set those expectations realistically and just know that you're on the right path. And remember, slow and steady wins the race. Your mistakes and your failures, your bumps, your hurdles, on the other side, there's always a learning experience. If you hit an obstacle, take the time to reflect on why you have found yourself in that situation and what you can do to prevent it from happening again. You have that knowledge that you can use to change your action plan or tweak your strategies and do it differently and do it better the next time. This is the prime example of what my son did when he was skiing. And I love that example because it just makes me so proud of him. But every time he fell down, he learned, he changed his strategy for the next go around. He learned how to quickly get himself back up. Even just telling him, don't point your skis down the mountain because you're going to be on your butt going down the mountain. You got to go, perpendicular to the mountain, and then you won't fall down when you push yourself up. You're not going to go downhill. That changed everything for him, that simple little lesson. And he would not have learned it if he didn't fall down and have to get back up. So, with a little bit of patience, my son was able to go down the bunny slope. And then some. He was turning, and it was great. And that will happen with you. With a little bit of patience, learning from your setbacks, pushing through the fear, you will confidently just keep getting back up again and improve and grow and earn that grit and determination every single time you do. Well, that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so, so much for being here. Take good care, and I will see you guys next week. All right, go be brave. Bye.